So a more entertaining way of practicing your scales is taking the pattern and instead of just mindlessly running through them. So for example here, I'm looking on my screen at the B Phrygian positions. So I'm here in the 2nd fret position. And instead of just fucking going up and down them, which I used to do that back in the day, like 3 hours a day, it'll help you vividly remember them. But if you want to practice your scales in a way that's more entertaining and creative and musically, you could just have the scale laid out in front of you and just practice along. So for example, and you could also dissect the pattern in the position you're in. So obviously the pattern goes all up and down the full fretboard, right? But you could even take it a step further and just focus on, okay, so today we're focusing on the shape that's between the beginning of the neck to the 2nd dot or the 5th fret, right? Just focusing on the patterns down this, okay? And you can take it down a step further and just focus on the pattern on the first top 2 strings. So for example, the B Phrygian, I'm starting here on the 2, but instead of running down the full scale down this whole position here, which would be instead of doing that, I'm just going to focus on these 2 top strings. So the low E and the A string, okay? And that's a pretty easy pattern to memorize. So you're basically 2, 3, 5 on the first string, on the fattest string, E, and then on the string below that, on the A, you're also 2, 3, 5. Now, if you just narrow down your focus to just those 2 strings and those 6 notes and creatively just jam to those. Okay, this is a more dynamic, fun, musical way to practice your scales. So I could just fucking riff around. And obviously count in the open strings for this one. So that is also another way I like to practice too, is I take a scale I want to fuck around with, dissect it, and continuously dissect it until I can't dissect it anymore. Work around with what I can on the spot, and then just continuously grow upon it. So let's go back and take it back to these first 2 strings. I raised up the volume on my amp a little bit. So right there, I just wrote a few riffs within the span of just 6 notes and just from the 2nd fret to the 5th fret. Now let's bring it down 1 more string to the D string. So now the pattern's gonna be like this. So now it's gonna be 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 4, 5. No, it has a little bit more of its Egyptian signature. Now the cool thing, now that you don't have just 2 strings, which is a good start, now you can do cool shit like string skipping, adding triads, octaves. You know, just general cool shit like that. So this is just an idea I wanted to get out to you guys, is look up a certain scale. Just Google evil sounding scales. Take whatever you find, put it up on a screen, print it on a paper, whatever, and start dissecting it to where it's more bite-sized. Because first, you may, do I have the book here? I don't know. You may have like a big tablature book with all your scales, and it's going to show you all the positions right away. That can be a bit overwhelming, but when you just see sections of it at a time, you'll be able to say, okay, this is the scale pattern in this position, which for me was... And if you just work on one section first, and then even dissect it even further, like I did, and say, I'm just gonna work on these first 2 top strings, I'm gonna add another string, then another string, and then just start fucking around with the notes. And then sooner or later, your intuition's gonna pop in, and you're gonna start writing jams. You're gonna be more melodic, more musical. You're gonna start coming up with chords. It's not that you're inventing the chords, but you're gonna start being able to build chords, you know? So with that said, hopefully this video was a bit informative. It was a bit off the cuff. I just wanted to share that out there. Cheers, guys. I believe I will put a link to this in the description of the B Phrygian mode, so you guys could grasp an understanding of it. So this page is pretty cool. It just has the scale there laid out. Has it in all the positions of the scales. So for example, it has just this section, a couple sections up here, and then like the first section. So you could actually dissect the scale and the notes that harmonize and create that certain aesthetic of the Phrygian mode. Also, shout out to my homies, Unaligned, technical death metal band. And they're actually very, very atmospheric for a technical death metal band. I'll put their links in the description. I'll do a couple more videos promoting their stuff because I really love their music. Shout out to Shane. Zick.